All right, I'm going to start this off with the elephant in the room, the reason why there aren't very many notes in the third period. So during the live stream for this game, there was footage that was showing on the screen, and it resulted in a takedown and a copyright strike. Now, there's a couple of ways you can go about it. You can say, all right, well, we'll leave that content up and we'll take the money from it. Or there's just a flat-out strike. Now, you get a warning on your channel as well. Now, back in 2016... the Pittsburgh Penguins were celebrating winning the conference. And so on this channel 4 years ago, I showed footage of the Penguins celebrating. There was no game footage. None. And it was just my webcam, which was much crappier than it is now. And I just turned it to face the TV and said, congratulations to the Penguins on the win. It's kind of nice to see this happen. And I got a warning. Now, that warning stays on your account for good. Meaning that today it's officially a strike, which means I cannot live stream here or on the Entertainment Guy for the next 7 days. I tested to make sure I can still upload and monetize a video with a video of my cats who were gracious enough to allow themselves to be filmed. And so here we are to do the review. This is why I don't show any game footage in any video. This is why when people say, this is just boring, we can just go see this on NHL. Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't have game footage. And even, Steve Dangle, who works for Sportsnet, who has the rights to the National Hockey League in Canada, he doesn't show game footage either because he's not allowed. It is against the rules. So moving forward, in 7 days, I should have my live streaming rights back. I won't live stream during games. And in general, it was one of those things today where did I get a bit sloppy? Yep. Have I emailed the NHL about it? You betcha. And the NHL can lower it. They can drop it. And, we can go on about our business. But we'll see. We'll see if I hear back from them or anything. And again, I understand how pro sports works. This is why on the Entertainment Guy I haven't shown footage from the NFL or from baseball. And when I do the videos on suspensions... And I talk about suspensions. I just show you guys a video from the phone. It's not that I'm trying to be cute or quaint. It's that if I do a full-blown, here's the play, and the whole screen is the play, and I get all this fancy video editing in there, they can take it down. So this is the thing where I say, all right, well, if I'm just showing my phone technically, so again, that won't be happening anymore either. So I'll just link to official video stuff, and we'll go on from there. And it is a shame, because today is, the first day back after a couple of days off, and I've been pretty stressed out over the last couple of days, and this doesn't help. It generally doesn't help. So, now that that's set aside, let's get into the review as usual. The Tampa Bay Lightning... the extra days off seem to help them. And for Boston, this is starting to look like 2 years ago. It's starting to really look like 2 years ago, where Boston was the second best team on the ice. And as much as they might make the effort, and the effort's there from Boston, at least in the third it was there, they are the second best team on the ice. So, fast start, hitting in the first few minutes. Tampa Bay gets a 2-on-1. Halak made the save. I know there's going to be a lot of this is on Halak coming out. It's not. The Bruins have been outscored and they're not getting goals, so I don't put it on Halak that they're not getting goals. This is kind of what I was worried about going into the first round against Carolina, but they came through against Carolina, but now this is kind of what I had expected against Carolina. Good start for the Krejci line. The shots were 5-2 Boston, 5.5 minutes into the game. Kucherov had some really prime chances. The chances that missed high. The Tampa Bay Lightning then, they hit the post as their play was picking up. And once Tampa Bay started playing their game, Boston didn't have a great answer for that. Palat gets a goal from point at 8:59. He roofed that far corner. And Boston's defense was standing around watching. You had 4 black jerseys. You'll have to take my word for it. I can't show you. There were 4 black jerseys watching as that puck went across to Palat and went upstairs. So this is a problem. Bergeron line then tried to answer. Were unable to. The Bruins turnovers led to a penalty on Carlo. So Tampa Bay gets a power play. And Tampa's power play, not as scary in this game as it was in the last game, but it was a factor. Tampa Bay goes 0 for 1 on that one. The game seemed to be slowing down, which I thought kind of favored Boston. Vasilevsky denied Coyle as Boston made a late push, and then there's a scrum. A lot of scrums in this game, and I think the dislike between these teams is pretty much back where it was during the regular season. Pretty darn close. Ritchie takes a penalty after Boston Bruins team. One of his teammates is boarded by Paquette. It should have been a 2-minute penalty on Paquette. It's not called. Ritchie gets called on the retaliation. This goes back to the 80s. So people get mad about, they didn't call the first penalty. Yeah, the retaliation always gets called. I'm going all the way back to the 80s, old playoff series, but it was retaliation always gets called. Then there's a scrum at the horn, which drew a Bolts penalty. So the Bruins start the second period on the power play. Vasilevsky denied Krejci when the power play did set up. Good power play, but Vasilevsky held. Strong push by the Bruins 3 minutes in. Vasilevsky holds the puck at 4 minutes and 9 seconds, and we get a scrum out of that. So, honestly, there was a lot of scrummy action going on in this game. Boston getting more and more frustrated with each passing minute. I think they're just being outworked. I think they're being outplayed. I have to say, Coleman and Gaudreau make such a huge difference for Tampa right now. If Tampa Bay goes on and wins the Stanley Cup, those guys should be the second and third players to get said Stanley Cup. I would say Braden Point should get awarded that Stanley Cup if Stamkos isn't on the ice for that. So, strong push by the Bruins, then the scrum, then we get a Clifton penalty, so that's Tampa Bay's third power play, but that power play doesn't work. Bruins penalty kill comes through, really, really well played by Boston. Open back and forth action, some near misses. Carlo then had a chance that was snagged by Vasilevsky. And then guess what happens? Palat gets his second of the game from Cirelli and Kucherov at 12:29, and that was not a great goal. That is one that Halak needs to stop that. And so while I'm not blaming him for the loss in general, that's one that Halak would definitely want back, and that's a problem. Ritchie then boarded Yanni Gourde. What was interesting was it was an ugly hit. This is right where the copyright thing happened because I was so watching the hit and moving around, and you can see the screen in the background, and that's on me. So Ritchie gets thrown out. So they did a replay, which I guess because it's a 5, right? And I'm watching this thinking, well, if there wasn't a penalty being called on the play, which there wasn't, did somebody call down? Did they call up? Were they alerted to it by somebody? Like again, it's a 5-minute and Ritchie's out, and rightfully so. That was an ugly late hit. Like that puck was gone for a while, and he absolutely floored Yanni Gourde. So this is one of those things where I'm a Bruins fan, but that's ugly. You can't allow that. And this is not the first time Ritchie had been in the box. And so if I'm the Bruins, Nick Ritchie doesn't play Game 5. There's no chance Ritchie plays Game 5. Whether he's suspended or not is what I'm saying. So if the NHL suspends him, clearly he can't be in there. But if the NHL doesn't suspend him, you can't have him in there. Post then for Tampa Bay during the power play. Hedman would score on that power play. Johnson and Kucherov with the assists at 18:04. So 2 assists for Nikita Kucherov. That one bounced off Lindholm over Halak, and it bounced up over the goalie into the net. We've had some weird bouncy goals, haven't we, over these playoffs? 13-2 was the scoring for Tampa Bay in the last 15 goals of this series. This series is not close. It's not close. So third period, Coleman takes a penalty. During a penalty kill they already had going, so you get 10 seconds of a 5-on-3 for Boston. They don't score on it. Ritchie then has a fight with Gaudreau because Ritchie's not out of the game, even though he'd have 5 minutes for boarding. Why, if it's 5 for boarding, because you're saying that was, an ugly hit, why isn't he out of the game? He should have had a game misconduct. I'm bewildered. And yet, there's Montreal fans and we're going Nkok-Kanyemi, and my answer to that is, I don't have one. DeBrusk ends up scoring during a power play. Coyle and Grzelcyk with the assists at 7:04, which breaks the shutout. It was a much better period for Boston, but you can't spot Tampa a 3-goal lead. You can't, because you're going to lose. And that's where we end up. Much better period. Goaltender gets pulled with 2 minutes left. Kasha missed a chance high. Kasha can't buy his first goal for Boston. And a timeout called with 1:23 left for Boston. which doesn't go anywhere. Tampa Bay wins this 3-1, which is also where this series is at. It's a 3-1 lead for Tampa. The shots 9-8 in favor of Boston in the first, 12-10 Tampa in the second, 11-6 Boston in the third. Final shots 30-26 in favor of the Boston Bruins. Hits 45-37 in favor of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Power plays, Tampa 1 for 5, Boston 1 for 4. Vasilevsky 29 saves on 30 shots. Halak saved 23 out of 26. And there you go. Tampa Bay's up 3-1. The right team is ahead in this series. The better team is ahead in this series. We'll see where it goes from here. Let me know your thoughts regarding this game in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.